The most diverted and abused drugs are used to treat pain and anxiety. Some people even divert expensive cancer and blood pressure drugs to resell for profit. For these videos, we are going to concentrate mostly on the diversion of controlled substances. These are drugs that have abuse potential. Not all prescription drugs are controlled substances.
Opiates are your largest problem with regards to controlled substances. They take up the highest percentage of issues relating to drugs that are diverted, drugs that are abused, and drugs that cause significant problems in that you may see overdoses relating to them. Then there's depressants, then there's stimulants, kind of in that order.
The main drugs we are talking about are the pain relievers, which include opioids, stimulants, and depressants. Controlled drugs are organized into categories or schedules under the Controlled Substances Act, also known as CSA. They are classified based on potential danger, medical use, safety, and potential for abuse and dependence. There are also limits to the number of refills a doctor may write for some of these drugs. The Drug Enforcement Administration and the Food and Drug Administration determine which substances are added to or removed from the various schedules.
Controlled substances are a group of drugs that have an abuse potential, and they're in schedules, Schedule 1 through 5. Schedule 1 has the highest abuse potential, Schedule 5 has the lowest abuse potential. Schedule 1 are your street drugs, your heroin, your cocaine, street cocaine. Schedule 2 through Schedule 5 have a medical use in the United States. Schedule 2, of course, is the highest abuse potential. Schedule 5 is the lowest abuse potential, per se. There are drugs out there that people do abuse that aren't controlled substances, but yet they're still abused. They're not necessarily scheduled yet. There's the federal schedules and the state schedules. Each state has their own scheduling. Usually, they try to mirror what the federal schedules are, but they don't always do that. Narcotics fall into just about all of them. There's some types of narcotics that are very weak, some type of narcotics that are kind of strong. But it's kind of interesting because some of the more popular narcotic drugs, such as promethazine with codeine, it's a cough syrup, that's in Schedule 5. And that has a significant abuse potential on the street now with regards to kids. There's rap songs that talk about it, and they get involved in that, and the curiosity brings them to those particular drugs. And that's in Schedule 5. You have your hard, straight narcotics that are used, say, for cancer pain. Those are in Schedule 2. When you mix them with another drug, usually a non-narcotic drug, they may drop to Schedule 3. It's the main narcotics that are used usually to treat significant severe pain, moderate to severe pain, are in your Schedule 2 category.
Here's a recap. Schedule 1 drugs have a high abuse potential with no accepted medical use in the United States, and there is a lack of accepted safety for use of the drug. Therefore, prescriptions cannot be written for these drugs. Schedule 2 drugs have a high potential for abuse and have a currently accepted medical use in the United States. Abuse of Schedule 2 drugs can lead to severe psychological or physical dependence. Prescriptions can be written for these drugs. Many of the diverted drugs fall into this category too. Schedule 3 drugs have some potential for abuse, but less than the Schedule 2s. There is a current medical use in the United States, and it can lead to moderate or low physical or psychological dependence. Prescriptions can be written for these drugs. Schedule 4 drugs have a low potential for abuse, a current medical use, and limited risk of physical dependence or psychological dependence. Again, prescriptions can be written for Schedule 4 drugs. And finally, Schedule 5 drugs have a low potential for abuse and consist primarily of preparations containing limited quantities of certain narcotics. They also have an accepted medical use, so doctors can write prescriptions for them, and a limited risk of dependence. Something to keep in mind about the pills themselves. Just because a marking or a stamp is on a particular pill doesn't mean it is that pill. Just like in a street drug case, you must have that pill tested in the lab to make sure it is what it says it is.